For years, the big race in enterprise AI was all about who had the most powerful model. Well, that game is officially over. Today, we're going to talk about why the new, unbreachable moat isn't about raw model performance, but something way more important, your decision architecture.
Okay, let's just jump right in with some pretty stark numbers. A staggering 88% of organizations have already been hit by AI-related security incidents. This isn't some far-off problem, right? It's happening right now, and it's affecting almost everyone.
And it's not just about attacks from the outside. Get this. Inside these same companies, 80% of IT pros are saying their own AI agents are doing things they just didn't expect, acting in these unpredictable ways. That's a huge problem for trust and, well, for control.
So what's the real-world business impact of all this? Well, with this much risk and this much unpredictability, it's really no surprise that Gartner is predicting that over 40% of these really ambitious AI agent projects, they're going to get canceled before they even get off the ground. All that potential is just being wasted because of a lack of control.
This all brings us to the big question we're trying to answer here. In a world where basically every major company has access to incredibly powerful AI, where the performance of these models is all starting to look the same, who actually wins? The answer, as you'll see, is changing, and it's changing fast.
To really get that answer, first we've got to face AI's high-stakes reality. There's this huge, dangerous gap that's opened up between how fast companies are rolling out AI and how slowly they're building the guardrails to actually govern it. And just look at the sheer scale of that gap. A Deloitte study found that while the use of this agentic AI is just exploding, only 21% of companies have what you'd call a mature governance model in place. That leaves the other 79%, that's nearly 4 out of 5, operating in a really high-risk zone without a safety net. And make no mistake, this isn't some abstract risk. Regulators are stepping in, and they're serious. The EU AI Act, for example, is coming into force soon, and it carries penalties for non-compliance up to 40 million euros, or 7% of a company's global turnover. The cost of ignoring this stuff is becoming, well, financially catastrophic.
So, that brings us to the solution. The new defensible moat, the thing that will protect your business, isn't about having a slightly better model. It's about shifting our whole focus, moving away from raw model power to building real, durable architectural strength.
This slide just captures that paradigm shift perfectly. The strategic question that leaders need to be asking is no longer which model is the best. It has fundamentally changed to which decision architecture is the most defensible. It's all about how you make decisions, not just what your AI can do on its own. Okay, so how do you build that defensible architecture? Well, it all starts with a concept you've probably heard of, human in the loop, or HITL for short. Let's really break down what that means in practice. At its core, human in the loop is a really simple but incredibly powerful idea. It just means creating these explicit checkpoints, these clear stop signs, where an accountable human being has to validate a high-impact action before the AI is allowed to go and execute it. The keywords there are accountable and before. This is all about prevention, not just cleaning up a mess after the fact. And this table here, it just lays out the difference so clearly. Just look at, say, legal defensibility. With pure AI autonomy, you've got this undefined liability chain. Who's at fault when something goes wrong? Who knows? But with human in the loop, you have a named decision maker, a real person at every single critical step. That's what creates an auditable, defensible system that builds trust with everyone, from regulators to your own board. So when you boil it all down, it comes to this one core trade-off. Pure autonomy is a sprint. It's all about optimizing for raw speed. But human in the loop, well, that's a marathon. It's built to optimize for defensibility. And in the enterprise world, it's always the defensible architecture that survives, that scales safely, and that passes regulatory scrutiny. This all sounds great in theory, right? But how do you actually implement it? How do you put it to work? Let's move from the abstract idea to some really practical frameworks you can start using today to get control. A fantastic tool is the Cloud Security Alliance's 6-level framework for AI autonomy. It gives you a scale from level 0, no autonomy at all the way up to level 5, which is full hands-off autonomy. Now, what's so critical here is that the CSA themselves state that level 5 is just not appropriate for enterprise deployment today. For most critical business workflows, you want to be living in levels 1 through 3, where that human oversight is baked right into the process. And here's a really simple way to put that framework into action. This 3-tiered approach works wonders. Tier 0 is for your low-risk, fully automated stuff, like drafting an email.
Tier 1 requires a human review for things that are a bit more sensitive, like customer communications. And then you have Tier 2, which demands dual approval for those really high-impact actions, like a regulatory filing or authorizing a large financial transaction. Simple, right?
So, where do you begin? Let's make this super actionable. Here is a clear 5-step plan for any leader who wants to start building their defensible AI moat right now.
Let's walk through these, because they are absolutely critical. First, adopt that tiered policy we just talked about immediately. Second, you have to require decision provenance logs for everything. You need a record. What did the AI propose, who approved it, and when? Third, make the speed of human intervention a KPI. Actually measure how quickly your team can safely step in and take control. Fourth, and this one is huge, get your legal and compliance teams involved before you deploy anything, not after there's already been an incident. And finally, map every single one of your AI agents to that CSA framework so you know exactly what your risk profile looks like.
Ultimately, after all of this, it all comes back to this one idea. The defensible moat in enterprise AI is not the best model. It is the best decision architecture. And the best decision architecture always has an accountable human at every single checkpoint that matters. The real question is, does yours?